Now, the Metropolitan Police has said that 6 of its former officers have been charged with sending grossly offensive racist messages on WhatsApp.
The officers have been charged, but all of them retired from the force between 2001 and 2015. So the question is risen, is this a good use of police time and priorities?
Well, let's put that now to former Met Police Detective Peter Bleksley, who joins us now. And Peter, this is an active case, and those former officers are going to appear in court on the 7th of September, so we do need to be really careful with legalities. But what do cases like this do for trust in the police?
Well, Sir Mark Rowley, the Met Commissioner, who's not been in place for a year yet, has been extremely vocal from the time he was appointed, saying, I am going to clean up this organisation. He's repeatedly said that, and he's got a huge job on his hands. It may be that the remit stretches beyond serving officers, but of course these officers charged are yet to stand trial, innocent till proven guilty. But if Mr Rowley is looking beyond just officers in the organisation, he will of course be looking at staff as opposed to police officers, and he's going to be thoroughly across the behaviour of all and sundry. Then he's got a huge job on his hands.
It does seem that we have heard so many stories of impropriety in the Metropolitan Police and indeed in other police forces as well. And the argument is always, is this endemic within the force, or is this a few bad apples? And you often hear different arguments on either side of that debate.
The few bad apples argument has long since gone because, unfortunately, police officers are being convicted in courts up and down the land on a virtual weekly basis of very serious crimes. Tragically, your viewers and listeners will be familiar with the names of Wayne Couzens and David Carrick, two absolute monsters who really don't deserve any more airtime. But there are many, many more officers who have been convicted of very serious crimes, from rape to child sexual offences to sharing indecent images. There's been a litany of these cases, and it is deeply, deeply worrying. I wish Sir Mark Rowley all the best in his efforts to clean up the Metropolitan Police, not only for the public, but for the good cops. The good cops do not want to be working alongside wrongdoers, monsters, or people whose behaviour is utterly unacceptable.
What do you think it does for morale if you are a good police officer who's gone into the job because you want to help society, because you want to fight crime, and you're seeing your colleagues in the court being charged with these sorts of offences? It can't do a lot for your own morale.
Well, possibly. Officers might go, yes, the clean-up's happening. Yes, we're getting rid of these people. I tend to post all these cases onto my social media feed, and there's a huge amount of reaction from the public, of course, so many of whom are going, what is going wrong with our police? And then people who conversely say, well, maybe this is a good sign they're getting to grips with it. This problem is far from over because, of course, people were allowed into policing without the necessary vetting checks being carried out for a considerable amount of time. There are people in policing with criminal convictions who have simply got to go because they can't stand up in a witness box at number 1 court at the Old Bailey and swear to be a witness of truth when they've got criminal convictions for dishonesty, for example. That's absolutely fundamentally wrong. But again, I would be 4 square behind Sir Mark Rowley and other chief constables wanted to clean up their police services, but it's going to be a long and winding road.
Now, just finally, of course, there has been concern about vetting in the past. In the last 4 years or 3 years, there's been this mad dash to recruit 20,000 extra police officers. Lots of criticism about that process, about potentially not enough vetting there too.
Oh, undoubtedly, because they've gone for quantity and not quality. We may remember Boris Johnson saying, we'll recruit 20,000 police officers when he was serving as Prime Minister. And when a Prime Minister makes that kind of pledge, senior officers feel that political pressure. And it's blatantly obvious that some of the candidates that got into service are way, way beneath the levels that they should be. Standards now, I hope, are going to rise. I hope that vetting procedures are going to be thorough, exhaustive, so we get the right people into policing. And I hope policing, once again, becomes a vocational thing where people want to do it for decades, not just a couple of years to get something on their CV and clear off to another line of work.
Well, here's hoping. Peter Bleksley, always really good to see you. Thank you so much for your time. Well, in response to the 6 former Metropolitan Police officers being charged with sending racist messages on WhatsApp, the Met Police have said this: as soon as we were made aware of these allegations, we acted to launch an investigation.
The honest majority of Met officers are fully behind this work. They are tired of being let down by a minority in policing, and they are aware of the damage poor behaviour can do to our relationship with the communities we serve.